Kin, who's one of Mrs. Leong Yee-Soo's daughters, 1984. Mrs. Leong Yee-Soo, of course, is the aunt of Minister Mentor Lee Kuan Yew, the maternal aunt. I think that's her on the second. No, I can't remember which one she is actually. But the third from the right is Mrs. Lee Chin-Kun, who is Lee Kuan Yew's mother. I think Mrs. Leong Yee-Soo is on the extreme left. No?
She's the one in.
Sorry, Claire.
Yeah.
Claire sits here, who is your grandmother is here too, right?
Yeah.
So which one is Mrs. Leong?
Mrs. Leong is the one next to the man.
Brown.
In brown.
Brown and white.
I thought that was Mrs. Lee Chin-Kun.
No, Mrs. Lee is the other one. The one in blue.
Oh, the one in blue is Mrs. Lee Chin-Kun. I'm sorry. Sorry, I got my history wrong. Anyway, these are all the sisters who are famous cooks. And this is, they were all Chuas, they were the children. The man is the only son, right?
Yeah.
And then the rest were girls. And they were all children of Chua Kip Ting, who had this big house in near off Newton. And I'm told he went, am I allowed to say this? He went bust. And, but at one time he was very prosperous and he lived in this house, this villa. Then we also have the photograph albums of Dr. Lee Chun-Yo, who is also the paternal aunt of Lee Kuan Yew. She was Singapore's first female doctor. That's her seated on the right, and on the extreme left is Mr. Lee Chin-Kun, who is the father of Lee Kuan Yew, and the rest of the family in the early 1900s, 1910s maybe. That is the Lee family, seated Mr. and Mrs. Lee Hoon Leong, the grandparents of Lee Kuan Yew. This is the first Mrs. Lee Hoon Leong. Lee Chin-Kun is the son of the second Mrs. Lee. Standing second from right is Dr. Lee Chun-Yo. The aunt on the extreme right, it says here her name is Daughter Ling Leong Ni Ma Yi Kling. This is Dr. Lee Chun-Yo in SGH with nurses in one of the wards. That's her on holiday in Penang in 1919 with Mrs. Xiao Bo Leng. And I suppose when you're on holiday in Penang, you dress as a Penang Nyonya. So. And that's her consulting room in Bras Basah in the clinic. That's her playing tennis. I think she was quite a modern woman. And they don't look like they're sweating. And this is her driving a car. So I think she was again I think the Peranakans of the early 20th century were really preoccupied with being modern, more than anything else, if you ask me. Can anyone tell me, is that, I don't know, that's a, no, I don't think that's a Rolls Royce. Yeah, it's got a something in it. Yeah. Then we have the wonderful collection of textiles that are kept by Dr. Maureen Sakok, belonging to her husband's family. I'm showing you this robe because the one on display is the first day one, but they also have this Baju Okchu, and it's the one that is in this photograph. It's in pristine condition, as you can see. The family collection consists of amazing, all the bridal sort of the bed curtains, blankets, the gewgaws, all the hangings, and many robes and collars. It's an amazing, amazing family collection. And they've all been lovingly restored. This lady's grandmother or grandfather was a jeweler, and which explains the incredible quality of all the wedding jewelry that you see in the exhibition. I'm just showing you another one, which is a sort of central kind of a thing that you for the front of the headband, I think. A really rare and fine example that's also owned by the family. Sadly, we couldn't manage to show this one. I would have loved to have this in the exhibition, but I just wanted to show you. It's all made of very fine filigree and diamonds. The date of this is uncertain. She was married in the 1930s, but they could have been made for the grandfather. I'm not sure. Then we have beadwork made by Bibi Seet, who has sort of personally revived beadwork today, and I'm sort of really proud of her that she's sort of kept this whole craft alive, as well as trying to sort of reinterpret or bring the sarong kebaya to the 20th century. I would say basically the sarong kebaya sort of stagnated. The batik making and the design of it for both the sarong and kebaya stagnated in the 1950s, and it has not progressed in 50 years until I think now. So I think it's a very brave and a wonderful attempt. Then we have these wedding shoes from these very, very unusual sort of Las Vegas wedding shoes belonging to Itui's mother, Josephine Tan. I mean, it's all full of spangles and rhinestones. Very cowboy, if you ask me. And I think, again, Mary Janes were the fashion in the 1920s, but possibly out of fashion in the 1930s, but I guess straight settlements was 10 years out of date, is possibly not bad for that time. I love this. It's the sort of invitation card to the wedding. Interestingly, she, if I'm not mistaken, I think Peter told me that his mother never really was not known by a Chinese name. So again, the kind of modernism at that time, you know, she would rather prefer to be known as Josephine Tan. And actually, many nonyas of that time did not have Peranakan names. They were known by they gave themselves fashionable English names, or Alice and Agnes and Josephine, and yeah. So, and interestingly, it says, kindly accept this intimation in place of Hui Yi and Serai, which was the old-fashioned way of sending an invitation. It's dated 1935. Then we have a group of interesting textiles belonging to Norman Cho, who's in his 30s and has lovingly kept all these things belonging to his grandmother. It's wonderful to meet all these people. There's always that one member of the family who is interested to keep all the junk from their families, but he's kept some amazing things, including these wonderful. Unfortunately, we couldn't open up these Lasam batiks, but they're absolutely stunning. We didn't have the right kind of space and proportion to open them up, which I regret, but they're really, really amazingly fine Lasams. And Norman Cho has told me his family was not wealthy, but they must have put a lot of their savings in acquiring these textiles. And I think perhaps the difference with the Peranakan community is, for whatever reason, you know, for their ceremonies, their wedding or the dowry, they would really put their money and get the necessary objects, get as best as they could. And maybe that's what differentiates the Peranakan Chinese community from the other Chinese communities, maybe. This is the lady who owned the